Hello and welcome to Reuters Events Pharma USA 2026. With me today, I have Nick Pinheiro, who is the Vice President of Solutions at Tellius. Nick, thank you for joining us today. Let's just kick off about AI. It's all about AI today, but there's been a lot of hype about AI in pharma. But do you get a sense in this conference that we've sort of moved on a bit from that and it's sort of bedding down now?
Yes, I would say the conversations have started to shift from what can AI do for us to now how do we roll it out? What's the ROI and what's the plan to start moving in that direction?
Excellent. Right. So what's the biggest barrier you're seeing to AI adoption in pharma these days?
I would say there's one word, which is trust. If a user comes into the platform, they ask a question, the numbers are wrong, they will never come back in. And so part of the rollout process, or as far as how you address governance and trust in the platform, it's really two-part. It's people process, meaning that you validate the numbers, they collect a sample set of questions, you validate those numbers against your single source of truth Power BI dashboards. And that's the first part. The second part is the technology. Any technology, any AI platform that you roll out, it has to have reflection and validation agents, meaning that the onus is really on the platform, because if the platform doesn't deliver accurate results, then again, you're going to lose trust. So you always have to place the onus mostly on the platform, because they have to be able to reflect, are we answering the right question? And then two, are we validating the numbers? Or do the numbers match the underlying source data?
How do you, as a company, build trust then with your clients? I mean, what's the language or what's the position that you take in order to get a trusting or
Yeah.
trustworthy profile?
It's about your reps, almost like your experience with the client when they come in. You have to make sure the numbers are accurate. So before you roll it out, are the numbers accurate? Do they trust the results that we're giving? And then from there, you start to build more and more trust over time, especially with your champions who's rolling out the platform, and then to the end users, because the champions aren't going to roll out the head of product, the analytics leaders are not going to roll out this AI unless they trust it first. And then once they trust it, once you get their sign off, then you can roll out to the end users.
Just perhaps you could give us a little bit of an introduction to Tellius and what you do as
Yes.
well, because it'd be really interesting to see how that all fits in with AI.
Yes. So we are an agentic analytics platform. And so what that means is that we enable business teams, analytics teams, with answering their own questions, being able to automate an analysis, but then also diagnosing the drivers of performance and understanding what actions I can take from there. So if you look at the legacy approach to analytics, a business team would have a question. They would send it to their analytics or IT team to pull data, build a new dashboard, then go through iterations of did we answer the numbers right? If they have a follow-on question, you have to go through the same feedback loop, the same whole process again. So now with Tellius, you just come in. Now we're enabling the stakeholders, the end users, with typing in their own questions, getting answers, and then that just reduces the gap between data and decisions tremendously.
It seems that in AI, everyone, is happening incredibly rapidly, and there are trends and fashions, and there are new frontiers opening up. We had generative AI was being talked
Yeah.
about 18 months ago. Now agentic AI is
Yeah.
very excited about that,
Yeah.
and and so on. What do you think the future holds? What's going to be the next wave, and what does Pharma's AI future actually look like
Yes.
from where you're standing?
So there are three phases. The first phase, self-service is still a major problem in analytics today with data. So the first phase is enabling your teams to answer their own questions, self-serve their own questions, be able to come into a platform, get a quick answer if they're live in a meeting. I want to answer that question now instead of having to make a request and get the results a week or so later. That's the first phase. So that's where we're introducing AI to democratize access to data, give self-serve to the end users. The second phase is, all right, now I understand what is happening. How can I go to the second and third layer of understanding why and what to do about it? That's where the second phase comes in, when you start to use agentic AI to diagnose drivers of performance, understanding why things are happening, and be able to make recommendations that are grounded in the insights that are generated. Then the third phase is where we get into automation. That's more futuristic, where you're able to build agents to automate the work that your analysts, your business teams do today. So if they spend hours building a monthly business review, we're able to automate the insights that generate that business review, but also automate the creation of the deck as well. So it's not replacing anyone. It's more of making them more efficient and focusing on more of those high value strategic initiatives that they should be spending their time on, instead of just manually analyzing data, manually building these decks, and then answering those ad hoc questions. So that automation that enables these analysts to focus on really moving the needle when it comes to data and improving the decision making across their organizations.
Fantastic. Nick Pinheiro, Vice President Solutions at Tellius. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.